Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about, in my opinion, the least violent zodiac sign. And yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Well, anyway, people, the first sign I'm going to talk about is Aries. Now, as many of you may know, Aries is ruled by Mars. Aries can actually have at least a somewhat combative and militant nature. They are Aries. Aries can be easily provoked. It doesn't take a lot for Aries to get angry, and considering it is ruled by Mars, for me, it is certainly not the least violent zodiac sign. So next sign I want to talk about is Taurus. Well, Taurus is ruled by Venus. Taurus generally has a very passive and docile nature. They are generally not easily provoked, but Taurus can be downright infuriated if they reach their point of endurance with what they can take. Keep in mind that Aries in a solar or natal chart for Taurus is often on the 12th house cusp. This could indicate a lot of suppressed and repressed anger. And Taurus can actually become very bellicose when if they are really aroused and really are upset when they can't take it anymore. So for me, I think Taurus is close to the least violent zodiac sign, but I think it just misses the cut. So it's not going to be Taurus. Now, the next sign I'm going to talk about is Gemini. Well, Gemini can have a very vivacious, lively, and very amiable and friendly nature. Gemini is not the kind of sign that is going to become acrimonious or become angry really quick. But however, Gemini can be excitable and high strung, and sometimes the responses they have that are connected with those tendencies can result in an angry outburst on occasion. So for me, I look at Gemini as not a volatile sign necessarily, but I don't see it as the least violent zodiac sign. So now let me get to Cancer. Well, Cancer is not a sign that's generally going to be really that angry or that volatile, but Cancer can be moody and temperamental, and those moods can consist of angry moods from time to time. Cancer can be very emotional, and they can have very strong and wide mood swings. And for that reason, you have to include anger in this as well. Cancer can have obviously a variety of emotions, more so than the other zodiac signs, or at least most of the other ones on average. And for me, I think it'd be safe to say Cancer would not be the least violent zodiac sign. So let me go to Leo now. Well, Leo, being a fire sign, can have the fiery temperament. They're like Aries. They can be easily provoked and have a strong temper. I don't think it's as strong as Aries on average. I think Leo is a little bit more patient than Aries on average, and I think that's why Aries is more volatile on average than Leo. But Leo is very close, I think. But it's certainly not the least violent zodiac sign. So anyway, let me get to Virgo now. Well, Virgo is a sign that's generally not non-combative. They could be very passive. Virgo is very cerebral and analytical. They're usually not ones that are going to be looking for any situation that can be combative or acrimonious. They're not ones to make waves or anything. But however, this is a sign that we look at Virgo, and Virgo being a feminine sign can be subjective. And even though it's one of the more least violent zodiac signs, because it is and it is subjective, it is a feminine sign, it doesn't quite win the prize, so to speak, or the top placement for the least violent zodiac sign. So anyway, now let me get to Scorpio. Well, Scorpio has Mars as one of its rulers, so they are capable of some acrimonious responses and behavior, more so than the average sign, I think. I think with Scorpio, though, it's more something that's bottled up for a certain period of time, and then when that anger unleashes, it could be very strong. And it's kind of like with, I think you have a little correspondence with the planet, how Pluto rules Scorpio as well. And Pluto, I think, may have raging turbulent waters perhaps under the surface of its planet. And you look at Scorpio, I think the metaphor kind of applies to their personality. They, even though Scorpio can appear very impassive and placid on the surface or superficially, they could have a little bit more anger than you would suspect, and when it comes out, it can be very strong. Scorpio is certainly not the least violent zodiac sign. Now, let me get to Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius can be very effervescent, very expansive, have a very jocular and happy-go-lucky nature. It's certainly not a sign that you would think could be violent. However, it is a fire sign. It does equate to have a fiery temperament and disposition. Because of this little bit of this temper is mixed in Sagittarius due to the fact it's a fire sign. I don't think it's the least violent zodiac sign. So let me get to Capricorn now. Capricorn can have a little bit of a temper. It could be perhaps attributed strongly to taking things very seriously. Capricorn can arguably be the least whimsical of all the signs and the least jocular. I think this propensity to take things seriously can have something to do with it. Keep in mind that Mars is the planet of anger, is exalted in Capricorn, and in many solar and natal charts for Capricorn, you would look as far as when Capricorn is on the first house cusp, is what I'm saying, in a solar or natal chart, you're going to often have Aries on the third house cusp, because often you have Aquarius intercepted in the first house. When you have Aries on the third house cusp, this could indicate that the thinking can be a little bit angry sometimes, and I think in the mind may be somewhat being associated with anger more so than the average person. So I think for those reasons, you have Capricorn being Capricorn certainly can take the cake as the least violent zodiac sign. So let's go to Aquarius now. Well, Aquarius is generally non-combative. They could be very cerebral and intellectual. They have very strong humanitarian instincts in nature. But however, Aquarius, it can be very unpredictable. And this could also include the emotional level, even though they're not, Aquarius is not known for being very emotional. They're very objective, but the unpredictable behavior can also include an angry, erratic behavior in general, and an angry outburst on occasion. And I think for these reasons, I think Aquarius is one of the least violent zodiac signs, but it's not the least. Now let me go to Pisces. Well, Pisces, you would feel, okay, there might be some criteria in some people's minds that would indicate that Pisces could be the least violent zodiac sign, because it is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. However, despite being rather passive and submissive, Pisces emotions can be all-encompassing, and when you talk about a strong emotional nature, that could also indicate a strong angry outbursts from time to time. So for these reasons, we have to look at Pisces. Pisces is certainly, I don't think it's the least violent zodiac sign. So anyway, I'm going to unveil, in my opinion, what the least violent zodiac sign is. And I think, and really it's almost unequivocally, it's Libra. Libra is the opposite sign of Aries. It's the antithesis of Aries as far as its temperament goes. Libra is dominated by peace and tranquility. It is a masculine sign. So it takes the cake over Taurus, because Taurus, though ruled by Venus as well, Taurus is an earth sign. It is a feminine sign, and Taurus is a little bit more subjective than Libra. Libra, being an air sign, is actually very objective, and they're not the kind of sign that's going to allow their subjective side to really intervene or conflict with their logical thought process. Libra is often associated with negotiation, and compromise and reconciliation. Libra is the kind of sign that will basically strive for peace at virtually any price. They're not a sign that wants to make waves. However, Libra does abhor injustice, and they will fight for their beliefs when necessary. Libra can be very balanced temperament, and they're very equitable. Keep in mind that the symbol of Libra are the scales. And really, when you look at this sign, Libras are about equilibrium. They're about balance. They're about being diplomatic and tactful. This is a sign that really is really non-militant and non-combative. They are not known for being very assertive or aggressive people. And I think when you look at Libra for these reasons, I think it's safe to say that they are the least violent. It is the least violent zodiac sign. They have all, as far as their general personality, their general temperament, it's a sign which really, they try to be very people appeasing, and they won't, and their temperament, they have a very even temperament and disposition, and they don't really allow the sign generally doesn't allow anger to enter their thought process, and I think it's less than any of the other signs on average. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the least violent zodiac sign. Stay tuned next time, where I will be continuing my transits in the houses series. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.